Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we got a good one now. Oh yes. Let's continue to celebrate of this awesome year, 2016. Let's go back to the year of 1966 once again. First I did the 25 centimeter Godzilla 1966 from the classic fun film Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Then I did a diamond reissue set of Sanda vs. Gyra from 1966, War of the Gargantuas. And now, let me let you in on a little secret. This is by far my favorite Gamera film of all time. Of course, from 1966, we have here Gamera versus Barugon. And here are the figures from that awesome movie. Yes. So, without further ado, let's do this. Roll it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? What? Yeah. Y'all ready to play some football? Just tap it. Big D. Let's go. If you want it, you can get it. Let me know.
What is going on, people? LP2000 right back at you with another figure review. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a double figure review today. Of course, I'm doing the 25 centimeter set of Gamera 1966 and Barugon 1966 for my favorite film in the Gamera franchise. You can hear that a lot in this video. Gamera versus Barugon. As you can see, I have the figures here and I have the box here. So you know how we do things around here. Let's get into the box before we get into the figures. Let's put Barugon down here. And put Gamera or whatever down here. And this is the box. This is 25 centimeter, box, whatever. Just has basically, it has no artwork of the figures, no silhouette of the figures. Just basically the Japanese language title of the film, Gamera vs. Barugon, and Gamera 1966, and Barugon 1966. I really don't know what this is, whatever. I'm not even going to try to attempt to explain what it is, but the main focus here is Gamera and Barugon. So basically that's pretty much it, with the S Plus Garage Toys logo right here. Then you can draw it on the back. Yeah. Now let's get into the figures. Let's put Gamera right here. Let's put Barugon right here. Oh yes, I'm so happy to finally have this set. Like I mentioned before, Gamera vs. Barugon is my favorite Gamera film of all time. And backstory about these figures, they both were released, I believe, in 2013. Both Standard and Ric Boys. The standards were like this, but the Ric Boy for Gamera gave it alternate limbs and a tail to make him on all fours. And the Barugon had an extra piece where you can switch out his small tongue right here for his long tongue, where he would spray out his freezing vapor. But basically this year, they announced that they were going to reissue these two in a combined set, obviously to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the film in 1966. So once these were available to come up for a reissue, I had to jump on it. I really did. Also, huge shout out and thank you for Jamie Davies, for Toy Explosion Japanese Toy and Figure Services. Thank you for hooking me up, allowing me to get these figures. I really do appreciate it. These really are really awesome figures. You know what I'm saying? I know that Gamera, a lot of folks, kind of underestimate Gamera, but Gamera really is a cool monster. You know what I'm saying? I know his Showa films, at least majority of his Showa films, may have been questionable. But this film, you really should go out your way to try and watch. And I'll explain that later on when I talk about the movie. But first impressions, I love these figures. I'm really glad that I got them. They're very detailed. I don't know, out of the two, I don't know which one is the shining star. I would think some folks would probably say Barugon is the shining star, but this is by far my favorite Gamera design, with the exception of Gamera 1996. Gamera 1966 is my favorite Gamera design. You know what I'm saying? Gamera 2 of Gamera Avid of Legion comes in close second to that. But if I had to pick one favorite Gamera design, it would be this guy right here. So yes, I'm really happy that I got these figures. So let's get up close and personal with these awesome Gamera figures. All right, let's go. Okay, folks, here we are, up close and personal with Gamera and Barugon from the classic film Gamera vs. Barugon, 1966. Let's start with Barugon first. Let's start with Barugon. Barugon is extremely well detailed. He has a brown texture all over his body. X Plus has done a great job. Let's try and get inside the mouth a little bit. Like I mentioned before, the Ric Boy pieces Ric Boy piece for Barugon is the long extended tongue, which I will showcase in a few minutes. Here's the tongue, whatever. So you basically just have to take this small tongue out and replace it with the big one here. But I'll showcase that later on when I do the Ric Boy presentation. But the detail in the mouth is very good on Barugon's. Teeth sculpted individually. Really well done. The inside of the mouth has a type of maroon type of look to it. Maroon color scheme, kind of light a little bit. Very good detail when it comes to the mouth. The eyes are sculpted really well, painted really well. Has a black pupil with some brown around the edges. Really good. Love the horn here, especially look with the highlights in the horn. I don't know if you can notice this. Hopefully, be in focus here. But you have little highlights, brown and white here. They really blended the color scheme on the horn really well. Barugon is really detailed. He really is, especially from the I guess the plates on his back. I don't know. I wouldn't go as far as say dorsal plates, but obviously these are the plates where he would emit his dangerous death rainbow effect. Really good. I don't really see a problem with these. Maybe they could have been translucent, you know what I'm saying? I think his fins were kind of like translucent in the film, or at least they were white. Mind you, majority of the time that we saw Barugon was at night, so it just depends on your perspective. You can say they suit accurate, or then again, you can argue that. But either way, I think it does the figure well. It doesn't detract from the figure at all. His claws on his feet is really good. But basically just a dark shade of brown as like through the whole color scheme of the figure. And of course you have right here, of course, obviously one of the best things about S Plus, you know that, is the fact that they replicate the man in the suit, not so much as the monster per se. And of course, since this was a man in the suit, he couldn't be directly on all fours, but he's on his knees here, and with the little fold and bends of the suit, with his foot being right here. Actually, if you notice the film or watch the film real closely, his foot is like right here, but this part right here, there's nothing here. So whenever he would step on like a building on the ground, whatever, this foot, or at least both back feet, hind feet, whatever, were like bunch up and fold up. Could there be nothing there? It would just be the rubber part of the suit just folded and bending. But I really do like the fact that S Plus took the time to replicate that. S Plus is known to do that, you know what I'm saying, with the bolds and increases in the suit, as well as like the holes in the necks of some figures to illustrate that the actor had to look and breathe out of. Really good. Now the tail is really long. Barugon, as you can see, is going to be a shelf hog, no pun intended. He is going to be a shelf hog. I suggest if you're going to have Gamera and Barugon, just have a dedicated shelf devoted just to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't really need any other monsters around them, since Barugon takes up most of the shelf anyway. He's very long. He's very spacious. But yes, Barugon is done really well. If you were to ask me my favorite feature about Barugon, it's probably the face and the horn. They really did a great job. S Plus has really done a great job with this figure. Like I mentioned, the color scheme, the sculpt, the attention to detail when it comes to like the bagginess of the suit that the actor had to go through when it came to his performance. Really good. So let's jump from Barugon and go to his co-star, the main star of the film actually, and this is Gamera. Once again, my favorite Gamera in the franchise, or my favorite designer Gamera. I don't know why. I do know why I love this Gamera so much, because he has more of a tweener look. He's both hero and villain. You know what I'm saying? He has both a look of both a hero and a villain. which I will touch on later on. I'll talk about the movie anyway. But I just love this suit of Barugon. Too bad they didn't really. Excuse me. I love the suit of Gamera. Too bad they didn't reuse this suit like in Gamera versus Gals and whatever. But since those films were going into more kid-friendly direction, I can understand why they wanted to change the suit. The same way where they changed the 1964 Godzilla suit from Mothra versus Godzilla to Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, where they changed the suit to better suit the direction that the series was going into. Gamera was no different. But I do wish they would have at least had this suit one more time, or at least kept Gamera like on the fence between hero and villain. But Gamera really done really well. I would like to say he's like a charcoal gray with a little hints of green in there. Tusk off bone white, whatever. The mouth is sculpted really well. The teeth, the tongue is really good. Really bright. Excuse me, a dark red tongue, not too bright. The eyes are really good on this figure. Really do. They really capture the essence of the suit. Really capture the essence of the character of Gamera in this film. Bone white claws, off white claws, whatever. His chest is more so flat, with the blocks right here, just illustrate his chest. Really well done. His legs are kind of skinny, you know what I'm saying, whatever, but it's fine. 5 toes on each foot, off bone white type of coloring. Now, mind you, when I got mine out the box, he did have an issue of like standing upright, which is something that you may run into if you do get the set or get Gamera 1966 in general. So what I suggest, like, just do what I did right here. I just use one of my tail stands I'm not using for like one of my Yuji Sakai figures from X Plus, and just prop it up. And Gamera has no problem standing on his own with this tail to support him. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of that. And let's go here to the back of the shell. The shell sculpted really well. Even the back of Gamera's neck right here just shows the detail in the suit. You know what I'm saying? Which is the texture of the skin done really well. But I do like the detail right here on the shell or whatever. Once again, like I mentioned before, Gamera is a figure, or at least a monster that should not be underestimated in both the films as well as from a kaiju figure collecting perspective. You should really try to add in Gamera to your collection. Whereas this set or any of the Heisei Gamera's really, from X Plus has a really impressive roster when it comes to Gamera merchandise, and they spare no expense when it comes to the detail of the figures. Obviously, you can tell by, like I said, the shell's is done really well, the tail sculpted really well. The overall look of Gamera is really amazing. Both figures are amazing, you know what I'm saying? They look really well. They look very perfect together, you know what I'm saying? That's how it was in the film. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, these figures are so amazing. They really are. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, you get alternate Ric Boy pieces to convert them into Ric Boys. Basically, like I mentioned before, by them being, released separately in 2013, basically they just combined both Ric Boy sets to make one set. So you basically get 2 figures for the price of one. And you can't really beat that from a collecting perspective and from a price perspective. So yes, that's it with the sculpt detail and everything. These are amazing. So if you do want a set, please, the time is now. Try and get your hands on the set. This set was recently released. I think it was recently released like two weeks ago. So the time is now to get your hands on these before they go up any higher or you just won't see them anymore. You know what I'm saying? Especially Barugon, because Barugon has been both figures have been very elusive over the years. So like I mentioned, the time is now to get your hands on these. All right, let me alternate the Ric Boy pieces in these figures, and you'll see what the Ric Boy pieces look like on these figures once I have these assembled. Excuse me. All right, I thank y'all for watching. Give me a second. Woo! Okay, here we are with the Ric Boy pieces in the figures. I'm sorry if I'm out of breath, but let me just say this. It is great to have alternate pieces for these figures or whatever. It's great to have these figures, have these pieces to especially convert Gamera into an alternate pose. But I have to tell you, man, you can do a whole lot of hair drying, you know what I'm saying, to alternate pieces at least to alternate this Gamera whenever you want to. Now, Barugon was no problem. All you had to do was just heat up the vinyl of the mouth, open the mouth, and then just take out the small tongue piece that's in the at the base of the mouth, inside the mouth, and then just insert the tongue. That was no problem. But Gamera, you have to heat up the entire figure. You know what I'm saying, to get all the pieces in to convert him to this pose. You know what I'm saying? It's not as simple as, like a Godzilla figure we want to attach the tails and stuff like that. You have to heat up the entire figure to put in the alternate head, the alternate limbs in the front, and alternate limbs in the back and the tail. So just be mindful of that, whatever. That's why I say, it's good to have these pieces as alternates. You know what I'm saying? Especially for Gamera. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the only Gamera, I think, X Plus figure that you can convert on all fours. Whatever. If I'm not mistaken, this is the only Gamera figure that you can do that, which is good. I really enjoy that, but it's not exactly a walk in the park. You can do a whole lot of hair drying. It's not bad, but then again, it's not good. So just be mindful that if you get this set or this Gamera figure. But yes, this is great. You know what I'm saying? It recreates one of the scenes of the film. Where Gamera was on all fours, trying to, challenge Barugon or whatever. They did it like twice in the film where they, Gamera was on his pose just to, I guess, have a more bird's eye view of Barugon, from this angle. But it really is good. Really is good. I really do enjoy the fact that you can convert this to the crawling Gamera. And once again, like I mentioned about the Barugon with the bends and folds, and when it comes to the knees, or at least to the hind legs and the back, whatever, Gamera has the same thing, because of course the actor had to go through the same type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Of course the actor could not physically be on all fours like a turtle would, so he had to, they had to do some shortcuts here and there, and of course his knees dragged on the floor, or at least on the set. So I really do enjoy the fact they also went, the extra mile just to replicate the suit of Gamera on all fours. So that's good. So that's pretty much it with the Ric Boy pieces. Very, 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 very awesome. Very, 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 very good. And I'm glad I got it. All right, let's go with one more size comparison, and then I will wrap up this review with my thoughts on my favorite film in the Gamera franchise, Gamera vs. Barugon. All right, sit tight. Okay, folks, this is the last size comparison, and obviously what you see here are the other opponents that Gamera faced during his Showa film career. You have the 1967 X Plus 25 centimeter Gauss, the X Plus 25 centimeter Viras, and the 25 centimeter X Plus Zigra. So I figure it would be appropriate to put all these figures here together. You know what I'm saying? And Gamera, since they, like I mentioned, they're all 25 centimeter, so they all scale well with each other. Now, mind you, this is not the same Gamera that fought Gauss or Viras or Zigra, but you know what I'm saying? You can still put these together and have a great setup to basically relive the adventures of Gamera during his Showa film career. You know what I'm saying? And like I mentioned before, Gamera vs. Barugon is my favorite Gamera film of all time. It's my favorite film of the Showa period. But like I mentioned before, I have no problem with the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? Even though they push the kiddie element to the max on those films, I really enjoy them. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Even Gamera Super Monster, which is considered the worst Gamera film of all time, or maybe Gamera the Brave, I enjoy them all, whatever. And I really enjoy these figures, you know what I'm saying? And with this set, it really does, you know what I'm saying? This is just a great setup right here. They have Gamera surrounded by a majority of his Showa foes. Now I don't have a Giron and I don't have a Jiger. I don't think they made a Jiger yet, as far as X Plus is concerned. They made a Giron or Griron from X Plus, whatever, with a Ric Boy piece being this little spaceship or whatever. And if you're not familiar with Giron was like a knife, four-legged monster that Gamera faced in his film Gamera vs. Giron, but I don't have that yet. So hopefully I'll get that sometime in the future, whatever. If not, I'm fine with what I have right here. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it with the size comparisons. I really do love this set. I really do. All right, so let's just wrap things up with my thoughts of Gamera versus Barugon. Thanks for hanging in with me. All right, sit tight. Okay, folks, I'm back with my thoughts of my favorite film in the Gamera franchise. I think I said that once or twice in this video. I believe I have. Gamera versus Barugon. Wow, this is such a great film. You know what I'm saying? The year was 1966, a very booming year in the kaiju film and television industry. I make no bones about it that 1966 is probably one of my most favorite years because we had so many kaiju film and TV properties that came out within the course of that year. We also 1967 had a bunch of kaiju film properties, whatever, 1965 or whatever. But in this year in particular, we had Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, The War of the Gargantuas, my number 2 favorite kaiju film of all time. We had Ultraman that debuted on TV, which basically revolutionized TV. You had the Damajin trilogy from Daiei Studios, and also Daiei Studios produced this Gamera film, Gamera vs. Barugon. And I'm really fascinated about this film is the fact that, you know, this featured the first Gamera film where Gamera faced off against another monster. And you, in a way, it's kind of eerily similar to Godzilla Rise Again, the first time where Godzilla faced another monster in Anguirus. And as I sat down and did some research about, you know, Gamera vs. Barugon and just think about I guess the synergy, if you will, or I guess the correlation between both stories, between both films. On the surface, you probably think one doesn't have anything to do with the other one. And in a way it does, but I believe that there are certain nods from Gamera vs. Barugon to Godzilla Rise Again. I don't think they were intentional, but still the similarities are there. Like, for example, in Godzilla Rise Again, Godzilla's first opponent was a four-legged brown creature with spikes on his back and a horn on his head. Now, it was black and white, but basically assumed that Anguirus was brown. In Gamera's first film that he fought another monster, his opponent was four-legged, brown, had spikes on his back, and a horn on his head. In Godzilla Rise Again, Godzilla and Anguirus battled in the city of Osaka. In Gamera vs. Barugon, the first time Gamera fought Barugon, of course they had like 2 fights, but in the first fight, they fought in Osaka, near Osaka Castle. And finally, in Godzilla Rise Again, Godzilla was able to defeat Anguirus by basically targeting his neck, whatever, which was basically one of the pivotal blows that Godzilla was able to use to really kill Anguirus or whatever. Of course, he used his fire after that, but he was able to gnaw on Anguirus' neck in order to give him the winning edge for him to win. In Gamera vs. Barugon, the same thing happens in a way. Gamera gnaws on Barugon's neck and basically use that as an advantage for him to pull him into the water to drown him. So I do feel, you know, the similarities between the two films is kind of eerie. Like I said, I don't think they're intentional, but they're there. But I think it's very interesting that those two films have those type of similarities. But why is this my favorite Gamera film? Well, maybe because this is the one true Gamera film of the Showa Gamera series that is really serious. Now, the first original Gamera film was serious to a certain degree, but it had a little kid actor in there that wasn't in there that much, but still with the kid actor and with the Gamera films that, you know, will follow Gamera vs. Gauss, where they push the kiddie element, the kid, even though he's not in it that much in the original one, it just doesn't seem right for a kid to be prominently placed in the debut of a vicious monster or whatever. But with Gamera vs. Barugon, this is the only film that doesn't feature any kid actors in it whatsoever. And probably, to be honest, that's probably like my number 9th reason why this is my favorite Gamera film, that there are no kid actors in it. There are so many other reasons that come before it why I love this Gamera film so much. The first and foremost reason why I love this Gamera film so much is the fact that I like the characterization of Gamera in this film. And it's kind of similar to Godzilla's characterization in the film that came out this same year, Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster. Remember how I touched on that in my 25cm Godzilla 1966 Ric Boy review, that I enjoy the fact that Godzilla, even though he's the hero, he still is both basically a hero and threat. He's unpredictable. You don't really know what you're going to get from Godzilla, despite the fact that he is, in a way, basically the lesser between two evils. Gamera is basically the same personification in this film. You know what I'm saying? They don't really rely on Gamera. At least the humans don't really look at Gamera as an ally just yet. And I like that. I like the unpredictability of Gamera, because Gamera does both heelish and hero things in this film. You know what I'm saying? And it's not like he's coming to take care of Barugon on the behalf of humanity or to save children or whatever. Basically, Gamera is just, he sees another monster he doesn't like, so he wants to challenge him and destroy him. That's basically what Gamera's focus is there. So I like the fact that he's not the overall good guy just yet. He will become that way more so in the next film, Gamera vs. Galson, especially in Gamera vs. Viras and Giron and Zigra and Jiger and all that other stuff. But in this film, he does play like he's on the fence. You don't really know what to expect from him. He's both hero and a threat. I really do enjoy that. I know a lot of Gamera fans that watch this film are kind of like taken aback by the fact that, honestly, Gamera's not really in it that much, even though he is the star of the film. But the focus is more so on Barugon. But like I mentioned, Gamera's not in the film that much. Literally, he's in the beginning, he's in the middle, and he's at the end. But most of the story revolves around Barugon. But I do like the fact that Gamera's not in it that much, because kind of like I mentioned with Godzilla 2014, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Termecha Godzilla, you know what I'm saying? Those films don't involve Godzilla that much, but when they do involve him, it makes it more meaningful when he does show up. The same thing involves Gamera in this film. You know what I'm saying? He's not in it that much, but when you do see him and when he does show up, it makes it more impactful when he does. So I do like the fact how they were able to keep Gamera at a distance in this film. But as far as Barugon, I do like Barugon, but I have to say that's one of the only weaknesses of the film, in my opinion. Barugon, even though he's a cool monster, I don't think that he was cool enough to be taken as seriously as he was in the film. They did a great job of beefing him up and making him very dangerous or whatever, but his overall look doesn't come off as vicious or threatening. Even though he has some, you know, some really eccentric powers like his freeze vapor and his rainbow, which basically started a trend of Gamera's opponents during the Showa film. That's one thing I will give the Gamera series credit for. Honestly, between Gamera Showa films and Godzilla Showa films, I have to get a nod to Godzilla. But I have to make mention that I do give the Gamera series credit for doing something different when it came to Gamera's foes. They weren't like exactly carbon copies or like really like similar versions of Godzilla's opponents, but they were able to do something different, like with Barugon, a four-legged creature that can emit freezing vapor, or Gauss, a giant vampire bat that can spit out laser beams, or Jiger that can like spew a ray from his horn and shoot out like darts, or like Giron, who can like basically shoot giant shuriken ninja stars from his head. I do like how they were able to take Gamera's opponents in more of a different direction. It makes them more eccentric, but it makes them more different, and it makes them stand out more. That's what I really enjoy about that. As far as Barugon, it's kind of hit or miss. I do enjoy Barugon, but I don't think that he was strong enough kaiju to build a movie around. But they did a good job with that. Like I mentioned, he's not really vicious looking, but I do like how the fact they were able to show him rampage his way across Japan from Kobe to Osaka to Lake Biwa, whatever. I think it was like the first time that we saw like a four-legged kaiju, just go from city to city or whatever. Now, Barugon in Frankenstein Conquers the World, Barugon from Frankenstein Conquers the World a year earlier, he was four-legged, but yet he more so attacked countrysides and farms and stuff. We didn't see Barugon in the city setting destroying buildings and stuff, but Barugon was, and I do like how they were able to showcase him moving between buildings, going through buildings. The fact that he was like taken on by the military, at least a good amount of military vehicles attacking him, as well as, you know, planes shooting missiles at him. They were shooting missiles from afar from a missile base. So I do like how they were able to just, you know, showcase Barugon in a very, very destructive light, and how it really meant something, and how much of a threat he posed by all the military offense they were throwing at him. But also at the same time, you know, like I mentioned, his look is not more so threatening. If you really think about it, Gamera looks more threatening than Barugon did. Kind of like Godzilla was the sea monster. The Godzilla suit, even though it was baggy or whatever, he did look more menacing than ever. The same thing applies here. But I do enjoy how they treated Barugon in this film. It really, really is good. The story is also really, really good, the human story or whatever. And it also presents a message in the film that basically greed is basically will be your own your own undoing or whatever. And as far as like villains go, you would even argue the guy that that got greedy between the three, that tried to get the opal from New Guinea and bring it back, which basically was the egg that hatched in the Baragon. You really should watch the film. So I know I'm talking about still spoilers here, but once you watch the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They bring the egg back, at least they try to bring the egg back. Then one gets greedy and wants all of it for himself. And he was really a treacherous individual. So in a way, he's more so of a villain in the film than Baragon is, in a way. But you know what I'm saying? But that's one of the main things why I love about this film. The human story is really, really good. It really complements the monster action. The monster action does show up or does happen or whatever. So that is basically one of the main reasons why Gamera vs. Barugon is my favorite film of all time. Now, I have to say that as far as like, I wouldn't say it's the best Gamera film of all time. I could be objective about this. I think when it comes to best Gamera films, I think that goes to either Gamera 2, Advent of Legion, or Gamera 3, Revenge of Iris. One of those two. Those two I would recommend as the best Gamera film overall that I would recommend to anybody who hasn't seen a Gamera film who wants to get into it. If you ask me what the best was, it would have to be Gamera 2 or Gamera 3. But I have to say, for the selfish side of me, I think that Gamera vs. Barugon is the best Gamera film. I know a lot of folks will probably disagree with that, but that's just my opinion. I just enjoy this film so much by all the mentions all the reasons that I mentioned earlier, from Gamera's unpredictable personification, the overall premise of Barugon, the way he was able to rampage his way across Japan and stuff like that, and how it was basically a stepping stone for all the Gamera eccentric opponents that will come and that will follow after this film. It's just a shame that they were not able to recapture the magic of this film with the rest of the Showa Gamera films. But since it was going into a kiddie lighthearted direction, there was nothing that could be done about that. But at the same time, that's why this film, Gamera vs. Barugon, holds a very special place in my heart. So, but basically that concludes my review of the X Plus Ric Boy set of Gamera 1966 and Barugon 1966 for my favorite film, Gamera vs. Barugon. If you have any questions, holler me down in the comment section or hit me up on Facebook, Beer Mark Calloway. We definitely go from there. Check out the Facebook groups I'm about to mention: Toku Legion, Toho Kaiju Union, Toy Explosion, Japanese Toy and Figure Services, the Godzilla Collectors Facebook group, Sci-Fi Labyrinth, and of course, the X Plus Collectors Facebook group. And check out KaijuAddicts.com for all things X Plus. Once again, that's KaijuAddicts.com. Wow, this really is a great set. If you really do want one, the time is now to get it. Like I mentioned, it just came out like a week to 2 weeks ago, so there may be some sets still available. You may want to contact Jamie Davies from Toy Explosion, see if he has any extra sets. You would not be disappointed, especially if you're a Gamera fan. Like I mentioned before, if you haven't seen this film, please go out your way to see this film. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have the kiddie element in there. It doesn't have any kind of silliness going on like Gamera, like doing backflips or anything silly like that. This is really a serious interpretation of Gamera as well as Barugon. So you will not be disappointed. Please go out your way to see this awesome classic film, Gamera vs. Barugon. All right? I thank y'all for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see y'all again on the next figure and move review. Y'all take it easy.